Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Martial Master based on novel. So let's start. It's no wonder that the disciple of the ancient Zhong sect was so excited after seeing the holy Yuan pill, and the formation control of the ancient Zhong sect was so weak. It turned out that in the heavens, the alchemy and other forces are very declining, so any master alchemy master are extremely rare. It is difficult to buy enough medicines on the market. At this point, Qin Chen finally understood the excitement of Qin Tingting and the others. Unexpectedly, these celestial warriors have lived so miserably. Qin Chen's eyes flickered. This is good news for him. With his alchemy attainments, as long as he has enough materials and prescriptions, Qin Chen is confident step by step. Becoming the top alchemy master in the heavenly realm will help him gain a foothold in the heavenly realm. Great benefit. It seems that I have found out how to cooperate with this ancient bell school, and how to gain a foothold in Tsongshuan City and obtain sufficient resources. Qin Chen thoughtfully. Boom. At this time, a majestic breath came out. Qin Chen turned his head and saw Qin Tingting's breath flashing slightly. A terrifying breath surged, and he stepped into the midterm peak of the mortal saint realm. Qin Tingting's talent is not weak. Qin Chen smiled slightly. At this speed, as long as there are enough resources, it shouldn't take much time for Qin Tingting to enter the later stage of the mortal sacred realm. Thank you, senior, for the point. Qin Tingting jumped up, feeling the strength in her body excitedly, and instantly came to Qin Chen, her eyes full of excitement and admiration. The bottleneck that had stuck her for a long time was so broken, and what made Qin Tingting even more excited was that she even felt that she had touched a trace of the threshold of the later stage of the holy realm. In the late Fan sacred realm, this is the realm that the elders of the ancient Zhong school have only, and she is still young. If she can break through as soon as possible, her future will be limitless, and becoming the heir to the head is not a problem. You are welcome. This is what you deserve, eh? Qin Chen smiled. Suddenly, his brow furrowed, as if he had sensed something. A meaningful smile was drawn at the corner of his mouth. Senior, what's wrong with you? Qin Tingting was taken aback. Nothing, you go back to the mansion first, I want to meet a special person. Qin Chen's eyes flashed, his figure shook, and he suddenly disappeared in the library. Senior is really fascinating. Qin Tingting repressed her excitement and withdrew from the library. At this time, in a secret place under the ancient bell school, with countless arrays of light shrouded in countless arrays of light, there was a magical array here. This array, imprinted in the core of this mountain range, formed an independent hidden space. In this space, countless heaven and earth sacred auras linger and gather, and the core of the holy pool of the ancient bell school is located below this space, which is the source of this hidden space formation. In this hidden space, there is an old man sitting. Old ancestor, see you, disciple Mu Daoxian. The head of the ancient Zhong school, Mu Daoxian, was kneeling on the ground at this moment, respectfully, not daring to show any negligence or disrespect. I've seen all the things outside just now. Among our ancient bell school, a master came in. The old man's eyes suddenly opened, and the entire space fluctuated, as if two divine lights were shooting out. Then ancestor, why don't you take action? Let him do whatever he wants in my ancient bell sect. Mu Daoxian Dao, this ancestor was the former head of the ancient bell sect. Rumor has it that he has fallen 100 years ago. In fact, the mystery of the ancient bell school. In the space. This is the top secret of the sect. Except for him, the rest of the sect does not know that this old ancestor is the secret weapon and killer of the Jiyu Zhong sect. 2 reasons. First, I have fallen from the outside world, and other forces don't know it. Once I take action, the holy energy fluctuations may spread out and let people from other forces in the Tianman Mountains catch them. Tianman Mountains, the other forces in the empire thought that I was dead, so the old man could feel at ease here to comprehend the Great Road. Once let them know that I am still alive, they will definitely take action against my ancient bell sect. In this way, my ancient bell sect will be in danger. Besides, the lifespan of the old man is not much, unless I can break through. Otherwise, my appearance would bring disaster to the Guzhong school. As for the second, even if I take the shot, I can't help that person. The old man shook his head and sighed slightly. What? Even if you make a move, the ancestor can't help that person? Even if the man is an earth sage, he is also very young. Ancestor, you have entered the earth sage for thousands of years. Mu Daoxian almost jumped up. You said that the person is very young, that is not wrong, but that person is not the earth sage, he is not using the earth sage's power. The earth sage, the rules are fused throughout the body, the 5 secrets are almost condensed, and this person is only condensed only a few of the 5 secrets, if not guessed wrong, it should still be in the realm of mortal sage. However, when he restrained you, he displayed the technique of space teleportation. You know what is called space teleportation. This is a method that can be controlled when the rules of space are understood to a certain extent. I've been in retreat for thousands of years, but I haven't been able to realized that if I shot, even if I could control him, I couldn't take him. The old man shook his head, so, you must not offend him. This person has amazing talent and absolutely extraordinary origin. It is not something that our little ancient Bell sect can offend. What's more, recently Tsongshuan City is about to open a grand event, and all major forces are ready to move. It is very likely that there will be changes, and it is not convenient for me to show up. If you can win over this person and let this person stand in front of our ancient Bell sect, it would be a good way to use it. Ancestor, you mean, let him replace our Jiyu Zhong to send to the Tsongshuan City event? This is an opportunity to strengthen our sect, okay? Mu Daoxian hesitated. It's not to seize opportunities for our Jiyu Zhong sect, but in Tsongshuan City, let this person resist some disturbances for our Jiyu Zhong sect. The old man's eyes flashed. This person probably doesn't know much about Yunju, but he can use it. Yes, ancestor. Mu Daoxian got up, said respectfully, and was about to withdraw, when suddenly, a chuckle sounded. 2 people, who are calculating people behind the scenes, aren't they heroes? The voice fell. Boom. A terrible breath descended, appearing directly in this mysterious space. The old man and Mu Daoxian were taken aback. Who? Of course it's me. A strong aura appeared in the perception of the 2 of them. A figure slowly walked out of the void. It was Qin Chen who looked at Mu Daoxian with a smile. Mu Daoxian, Ben, you are really sincere to you, the ancient Bell sect. It's not good for you to do this. Then, Qin Chen turned his head to look at the old man, smiled slightly. Unexpectedly, in this ancient Bell school, you are still a master like you. It is really rare, Earth Sage, if it weren't for this seat's understanding of space rules. Special insight, you may not find. This mysterious place. Qin Chen said with a faint smile, without any timidity, as if he had met an old friend. Can you find this place? The old man stood up suddenly in shock. He has a deeper understanding of Qin Chen's attainments in space, but the key thing is that this mysterious space is shrouded in formations. Even if the opponent finds it, how did he break in? The old man felt a huge threat in an instant, and suddenly slapped it out. Boom. A terrifying palm shadow appeared, haunted out, and instantly turned into a sky-reaching breath, sweeping towards Qin Chen frantically. Whoosh. The head of Mu Daoxian of the ancient Zhong school shook his body and turned into a streamer to block Qin Chen's back. Although he knew he was not Qin Chen's opponent, at this time, before the future of the school, he would rather die to block Qin Chen. Qin Chen smiled slightly, ignoring Mu Daoxian, the leader of the ancient Bell sect behind him, but concentrated on the ancestor of the ancient Bell sect. A master of the Earth Saint level, to be honest, Qin Chen faced it for the first time, so naturally he dared not be careless. Suddenly, a huge ancient bell appeared on his body. This ancient bell was actually condensed from the aura of Saint Yuan, and the power of terrible rules lingered on it, blooming with a shocking aura. This is Shengyuan Huazhong. The ancestor of the ancient Bell sect was taken aback, his eyes were almost bursting. The Shengyuan Huazhong was the secret of his ancient Bell sect. How did this kid learn it? Seeing Mu Daoxian used it once, did he comprehend the essence of this secret technique? What talent is it? Although he was shocked in his heart, the ancestors of the ancient Zhong sect were still undiminished, and his horrible palm power instantly overwhelmed him. Boom! Endless and terrifying palm strength surged in an instant, banging, The ancient clock around Qin Chen's body trembled violently and roared, and the light on it kept flickering. It seemed that it might break at any time, but Qin Chen didn't move. But to squeeze his hand, pause. At that time, invisible forces merged into the ancient clock, and the two sides fought for hundreds of rounds in a moment of strength. In the end, the endless palm strength retreated, and Qin Chen stood there, unharmed. What? The head of Mu Daoxuan's scalp was numb, and he almost didn't jump up. Under the palm of the ancestor, Qin Chen was unharmed. Is this still a human? Mu Daoxian and the ancestors of the ancient Zhong sect were shocked, but Qin Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Before fighting against the ancestors of the ancient Zhong sect, Qin Chen was also a little worried. After all, he was in the ancient battlefield of the Forbidden Land. I once accepted the book that Ling Luling displayed. Source Crystal. The origin crystal contained only 1/10 of the battle power of an Earth Sage Master, and instantly blasted Qin Chen. Now facing a real Earth Sage Master, Qin Chen was also afraid that he could not resist it, even though he had strength. The improvement by leaps and bounds, but right. Fang is also a master of the Holy Land. But whoever thought that the strength of the other party was far less than what he thought? That's right. After all, this ancient Bell sect is only a small sect, and the original crystal that Ling Luling displayed at the beginning may be the Saint Master of the Yaomia Mansion. There is a big difference between the two. Qin Chen thought of a possibility. This ancestor of the ancient Bell school is obviously only in the early days of the Earth Sage, reaching the peak of the early days, and the lifespan is about to end. The strength is definitely not as good as before. No wonder it is so weak. If the thoughts in Qin Chen's heart spread to the outside world, it will definitely shock the entire heavens. A warrior in the late mortal saint realm actually feels that the attack of an earth saint realm warrior is weak. Is there any heaven? You, who are you? The shock in the heart of the ancestors of the ancient Zhong school was beyond surpassing. He roared, his beard flying, and a terrifying halo burst out of his body, and he was about to use his ultimate move. Qin Chen put away the Saint Primordial Bell outside his body, and laughed. Old man, this seat is not hostile. It's just a test of your strength. The two of us can talk, and don't be nervous. When the words fell, Qin Chen's holy yuan dispersed, showing sincerity. Who are you? The old ancestor of the ancient Bell sect yelled coldly, his eyes were solemn, and the shock in his heart still couldn't dissipate. He has been in the realm of the Earth Sage and has cultivated for many years, although he is not considered the top powerhouse of the Earth Sage. But it's not the ordinary early stage of the Holy Land. The threshold of the initial peak of the Holy Realm, countless billions of square meters around this Tsangshuan city, can also be called a master. But now he couldn't even get a young man who didn't even reach the Holy Realm, which made him not startled, thinking that the other party was specifically going to kill him. Fortunately, Qin Chen stopped, his mind leveled slightly, and he was experienced and keenly felt that the young man in front of him did not seem to have any malice. I have heard what you said just now. What do you think of the talents of this seat? Qin Chen sat down cross-legged, watching his nose, and heart. The rich Saint Yuan haunted his body and swallowed this mysterious space. Suddenly, the holy aura in this heaven and earth poured into his body, like a long whale sucking water. 4. Ju's holy energy was all drawn over, and the old man and Mu Daoxian couldn't even absorb a trace of holy energy. This method is like a miracle. This is the magical effect of the 9-star God Emperor Ju. This technique, it seems that Qin Chen has broken through the holy realm, and only when he reaches the heavens can he exert his true power. Your Excellency is unfathomable. I can see that your fire of life is still very young, but your strength is so tyrannical, a worldly arrogant. No, it should be regarded as a peerless Ivildor. Not the small Tianmong Mountains and Tsangshuan City can cultivate at least Yunju. Saint Child level, maybe even stronger. However, if you have such a cultivation base, your identity must be extraordinary. Why should I embarrass me, a small ancient Bell sect? My ancient Bell sect is a small temple. I can't accommodate your big bodhisattva. The pond is a shallow pond and cannot hide your truth. Dragon. The old man lowered his heart and said carefully, this seat was injured, and was accidentally saved by your female disciple of the ancient Zhong sect. This is your opportunity for the ancient Zhong sect. I just came to Yunju and learned about the situation around here from the Tsangshu Pavilion. Knowing the strength of your ancient Bell sect, in this vast Qianmong mountain range, your ancient Bell sect can only be regarded as medium, and in Tsangshuan City, it is not considered the upper reaches. The few forces are staring at you, the ancient Bell sect. But if your ancient Bell sect cooperates with this seat, I will surely let your ancient Bell sect rise up, and it is not impossible to even take charge of this Tsangshuan City in the future. Qin Chen's voice was extremely attractive. In charge of Tsangshuan City? The old man recovered his calm and shook his head. The city lord of Tsangshuan City is appointed by a high-level Yunju. You can't be the lord at all. What's more, although your strength is strong, your cultivation level is too low. Bullying are okay, but in the dark. The profound city may not be invincible. How can I let the ancient Bell school rise? The ancestor of the ancient Zhong school was a little moved, but who he was, a talented figure, instantly analyzed the situation and roughly figured out Qin Chen's strength, which is stronger than himself, but not necessarily much stronger. Ha ha! Qin Chen laughed, but there was sarcasm in his laughter. It is said that people are old and good, but from the perspective of this seat, you old man, the eyesight is not good, regardless of the strength of this seat, don't you? Don't you doubt, how did this seat break into your space? Okay. As soon as this remark came out, the ancestor of the ancient Zhong school frowned, joking. How could he not doubt that since Qin Chen appeared to the present, he has not figured out how Qin Chen broke in? This mysterious space is protected by a holy formation. Even if the opponent is an Earth Holy Master, it is impossible to attack in silently. Is there anything hidden in it? This mysterious space should have been created by your ancient Bell sect's once powerful ability. Well, a holy protection array was placed around it. Unfortunately, this array is too weak. In the eyes of this seat, there are loopholes. Too much. Qin Chen finished speaking, raised his hand abruptly, booming, and saw that a primitive ball suddenly appeared in this space. On the ball, runes appeared one by one. This is a big formation. Countless the runes formed a series of patterns, but they were. Chen easily blasted the gaps one by one. These gaps were silent, and there was no formation fluctuation when they opened. Forget it, I'll show some sincerity first, and fix your broken formation method. The voice fell. Qin Chen waved his hand suddenly, and array flags appeared from his hand, thrown into the void, accompanied by with the disappearance of these formation flags. Brighter rays of light suddenly appeared above this large formation, booming, a terrifying aura permeated. Out. After that, Qin Chen used his techniques, and an invisible force was integrated into the formation. In the formation, the ancestors of the Jiyu Zhong sect and the head of Mu Daoxian suddenly felt that a terrible aura was suppressed, and that aura made them both extremely strenuous, as if they had been greatly suppressed. Hum. A vast breath was released from the formation. In just a moment, the formation around this mysterious space seemed to have been transformed, and the power of the formation was increased by more than several times. If the original formation was just an ordinary mortal-level formation, then now, this formation has reached where? Saint-level pinnacles, such as Mu Daoxian, a mortal sacred-level pinnacle powerhouse who breaks in, can be wiped out in a moment. Even, it can threaten the early masters of the Holy Land like the ancestor of the ancient Zhong school. Are you still a master of formation? The ancestors of the ancient Zhong school and the head of Mu Daoxuan's eyes burst. Their mouths were big and they looked shocked. Bootsai really knows a thing or two in terms of formation. Qin Chen said calmly. This attitude fell into the eyes of the two, but it was even more mysterious and vast. Qin Chen also had to thank the Hola-level ban in the Sea of Thunder Sea Abyssal Demon that suppressed the Lord of the Abyssal Demon. Originally, Qin Chen thought it was just an ordinary Hola-level ban, but later did Qin Chen understand that he could suppress the Abyss is the Lord's sacred prohibition. Can explain. With the experience of that holy rank ban, Qin Chen's attainments in holy rank formation naturally far surpassed the ordinary formation master in the heavens. Hiss. The ancestors of the ancient Zhong school and the head of Mu Daoxian took a breath of air. No wonder Qin Chen is so confident. A master in the early stage of the Earth Saint realm is nothing, but the master of the saint rank formation, no matter where you put it, it will a figure honored as a master. However, just being a saint-level master of the formation technique, it seems that it is not enough. Although the celestial array mage is rare, it is not completely absent. The Tianmong mountain range may be very few, but like the Tsangshuan city, there are still so many Hola-level array mage. Mph, knowing that your excellency can't make up your mind yet, then look at what this is. Qin Chen snorted and popped out a pill. The pill fell into the hands of the ancestors of the ancient Zhong school, and he frowned slightly. This is the Holy Origin pill? But what does this show? The Sage Yuan pill is extremely rare to Qin Tingting's disciples of the ancient Zhong sect, but the ancestor of the ancient Zhong sect is a master of the Earth Sage, and he won't be shocked by a mere sacred pill. Hey, that's not right. Suddenly, he seemed to perceive something, and exclaimed, "This Saint Yuan pill breath is very fresh. It seems to have just been refined not long ago. Could it be?" The ancestor of the ancient Zhong school was shaking slightly while holding the Shenyuan pill. That's right, this pill was refined by this seat not long ago. As long as there are enough materials, this pill can be continuously refined by this seat. It depends on your life expectancy, right? In this celestial realm, there must be recovery. Energy, the elixir to replenish life, it is really not good. Once this seat has collected enough materials, it can open a furnace for you to refine a furnace of time-returning pill, so that you can live longer and live for 10,000 years. The years return to Guangdan. Live for 10,000 years. The ancestor of the ancient Bell School jumped up in shock. Is this true? He is now suffering from lifespan, and his energy is not as good as a day. This is so long that he can't break through, and he will be immortal at some point, but if there is after these years of returning to Guangdan, he has extended his lifespan of 10,000 years. Under the surge of blood, he may be able to break through the shackles of the present. When the time comes, you can live forever. This makes him not excited, not ecstatic, not shocked. Naturally take it seriously. Qin Chen sneered, "I need to lie to you, an old man who has stepped into the coffin with 1.5 feet. His smile, confident and convincing. Young peerless Evildor, master formation master plus master alchemy. The ancestors of the ancient Bell sect were throbbing and full of thoughts. With such a big chance, this is an unprecedented opportunity to change the fate of the ancient Bell sect. However, this was also full of risks. He didn't believe that Qin Chen would be so kind to help them with the Jiyu Zhong sect. Could it be because a disciple of their Jiyu Zhong sect saved his life? No, it can't even be said to be a life-saving, it can only be said to be a peace. This is completely illogical. What do you want? He raised his head and said in a deep voice, his eyes shed light. Obviously, his heart moved, but he hesitated. He has lived for tens of thousands of years, and naturally knows that there is no pie in the sky, sometimes the pie is poison. I want you to be an ancient Bell school. From now on, you will take orders from me. Qin Chen raised his head and said lightly, this time this seat came to Yunju because of an accident. In addition to this seat, 3 other partners have left. Therefore, this seat is going to establish a power in Tsangshuan City and tell them the position of this seat, and your ancient bell. Pi, he has to take orders from me, build this power for this seat, and find my 3 partners for this seat. Take orders from you? The ancestor of the Jiyu Zhong school blinked. Yes, you can rest assured that this throne will not ban the ancient Bell sect. The power established by this throne is called Chundi Pavilion. This is an inclusive force, and your ancient Bell sect will be this Chundi Pavilion. The first organization under Yunzhou's command. Qin Chen said proudly. Qin Chen's ambition shocked the ancestors of the ancient Zhong school, and with Qin Chen's strength and background, it might be possible. I don't force you to think about it yourself, but I'll give you a piece of advice. Even if you don't do it for yourself, you should also think about the future of the ancient Bell school. The development of a power is like sailing against the current. If you don't advance, you will retreat. You should understand this. This makes sense. Qin Chen watched his nose, his mind, and stopped talking, letting the ancestors of the ancient Zhong school decide for themselves. If the other party refused, Qin Chen would absolutely not say anything and turn around. The face of the ancestor of the ancient Zhong school showed hesitation. In the end, he gritted his teeth as if he had made up his mind. Okay, this matter, the old man did it. As soon as he said this, he felt as if a big rock fell, extremely relaxed. He knows that this is a gamble, but, as Qin Chen said, even if it is not for himself, but only for the future of the ancient Zhong school, he should also make a change. A force in such a fiercely competitive place in the heavens will not develop, facing him. It must be destruction. Although the ancient Bell sect is pretty good now, what about it? Once he falls, can the Jiuzhong sect continue to exist in the Tianmeng Mountains, which are staring at him, in the dangerous Tsongshuan city? On the contrary, the appearance of Qin Chen is an opportunity, the biggest opportunity for an ancient Zhong school in the tens of thousands of years. It is better to cooperate and gamble. Very good. Qin Chen suddenly smiled and stood up when he heard the words, his eyebrows flashed, his fingers pointed out, buzzing, and a terrifying soul light burst out, instantly disappearing into the mind of the ancient Bell patriarch. What are you doing? The ancestor of the ancient Zhong school suddenly stood up, the light of the soul entered his mind, and suddenly turned into an invisible rune, and it fell down without affecting his soul, but it was like a brand engraved in his soul. Don't worry, this is a soul mark. Although you have agreed to cooperate, this seat still cannot trust you, so you have left a soul mark. Once you cheat, this soul mark will explode. Qin Chen said directly, as if doing a trivial thing, everything should be on the bright side. The ancestor of the ancient Zhong school was shocked to feel the soul mark in his mind, and a terrible breath was released from the soul mark. The terrible soul breath made his heart palpitations. Once the soul mark broke out, it would be impossible. The complete destruction of his soul can also greatly damage his soul and fall into a coma. A warrior at the pinnacle of the mortal realm could display such a terrifying soul mark. The ancestors of the ancient Bell sect were not dissatisfied, but shocked and fortunate. This son absolutely possesses the secret method of soul cultivation. This is a technique that can only be possessed by the top forces in the heavens. This step of mine is right. He was fortunate. Okay. Suddenly, the face of the ancestor of the Jiuzhong sect changed. He looked deep into the Jiuzhong sect and shouted angrily, "These two traitors." Qin Chen's brows also wrinkled, and his eyes showed cold light. Whoosh! I saw the ancestor of the ancient Bell sect swayed and stepped out in an instant, while Qin Chen and Mu Daoxian also followed behind and quickly went deep into the ancient Bell sect. At this moment, in the deep dungeon of the ancient Bell sect, Pang Wuda and his son were standing in front of a communication formation, trying to activate the communication formation. Father, did you really decide to do this? If anyone knows, we are betraying the sect. Pang Feng stood aside, his expression nervous, his face covered with sweat. Pang Wuda showed a hideous look on his face, and said coldly, the head brother is so confused, he actually recognized it in front of a young man. This young man has a strange background. It is very likely that he is a spy, brother head. Afraid of the opponent's strength. Kneeling, Pang Wuda can't do such a thing. This messenger array can contact an adult in Tsongshuan City, and I will pass to him the news that my ancient Zhong sect is harboring the spy of the demon way, so that he can lead the strong to come and kill the kid. But father, in this way, the reputation of my ancient Bell sect is ruined. If Kangshuancheng determines that my ancient Bell sect is harboring demon spies, I am afraid the entire ancient Bell sect will be destroyed. Pang Feng trembled. Moreover, the young man doesn't have the aura of the magic way. It is very possible that I just came to the Guzhong school by accident. What? Pang Wuda sneered. The important thing is not whether he is a spy from the evil way, but that the adult I contacted needs such a feat. Besides, son, do you want to break through the later stages of the Holy Realm? Pang Feng was taken aback, his face showed a hideous look. Yes, of course. That's it. Pang Wuda grinned. I don't care if he is a spy of the evil way, I said he is, then he is. Shit, how come this communication array hasn't been activated yet? It's activated. I saw a halo quickly lit up on this communication formation, and it was establishing a connection with the outside world, but the connection hadn't been connected yet. Boom, a terrifying aura surged from outside the dungeon, suddenly exploding the communication formation. Come, torn apart. 3 figures came from outside the dungeon, and the leader was the ancestor of the ancient Bell School. Pang Wuda, you are so bold. The ancestor of the ancient Zhong School was trembling with anger. He really did not expect that for his own selfish desire, Pang Wuda would rather the sect be framed and contact the great figures in Tsengshuan City. Ancestor, how are you? Pang Wuda knelt down on the spot when his legs were soft when he saw the incoming person. And that Pang Feng was so scared that he looked like a hen drenched in rain, shivering, speechless. Pang Wuda, you disappointed me too much. Mu Daoxian walked out from behind the ancestor with a look of disappointment. Pang Wuda had offended Qin Chen before. Instead of punishing the two of them, he instead allowed people to treat Pang Wuda's injuries, even though he was imprisoned in the dungeon, but did not restrain the two at all, even the storage rings of the two were not confiscated. But who would have thought that Pang Wuda almost did something to frame the Jiyu Zhong sect, which made Mu Daoxian not angry? Brotherhead, Pang Wuda said with a horrified expression. What else to say, too? These two people will be handled by this seat. Qin Chen snorted and stepped forward. Senior, do you want to deal with these two evil obstacles? Mu Daoxuan's body was shocked. The person who offended me has never ended well, but I was a guest before, and for the sake of the head of the house, I spared these two people, but now this seat has cooperated with your ancient Bell sect, and these two people do not know how to repent. I want to frame this seat, so I don't blame it. This seat does not give face anymore. Qin Chen took a step forward and directly transmitted to Qin Tingting, come here. Then, Qin Chen showed a smirk on his face and suddenly grabbed it. Elder Pang Wuda, who was in the dungeon, was suddenly caught up in the air by Qin Chen. He screamed sharply all over his body. Furthermore, the Qinglian demon fire surged out and ignited Elder Pang Wuda, causing a wave of waves on him. The fire of karma began to burn. It is the power of the origin that is burning. Brotherhead, ancestor. Pang Wuda roared in pain, begging for mercy frantically. This video will end here.